you want it from the institution, there's a small fee that you can pay, but you get the completion certificate absolutely free. You do not have to pay for it.
Someone here is, and I mean, I get playing devil's advocate. They wanted to know when we say that a person doesn't have skills, when we say that South Africans don't have skills or South African graduates don't have skills, what exactly is meant by that, and which country perhaps can be used as an example of who has more skills in Africa than South Africa? And this one's from Wade. Wade, I added a few more words there just to make the message a little bit less combative.
Yeah, so certainly everybody's got skills. We acknowledge that. But the question we need to ask is whether you have relevant skills and whether your skills are current. So I always use the example when people tell me they've been a manager for 50 years. Well, they might have been the worst manager on earth.
Yeah.
The question is, do you have the right skills? Now, how do we acquire the right skills is to ensure that there's obviously knowledge advances. So let's look at AI, for example. It was fine 2 years ago if you knew what AI was. If you don't understand what generative AI and agentic AI is right now, you really are going to struggle to advance yourself in the workplace. So the question is not, I acknowledge it, everybody's got skills. But if you want to advance in the workplace, you need to have the best possible skills so that you are sought after, that you lead in particular fields. Now, a simple thing to do is to subscribe to newsletters. And if you look at, one newsletter that I can absolutely really advocate for is if you look at McKinsey, McKinsey, McKinsey and Company. They have a wonderful newsletter, and it keeps you abreast of development around a lot of contextual things that are happening globally. If you get that newsletter and you subscribe to the different newsletters, you will at least understand how the discourse is changing, the narrative is changing in the workplace with these adaptive things that are happening, adaptive technologies, advances in the workplace, and so forth. So really equip yourself with the knowledge. Subscribe to News 24. Have skills that are current so that you're able to enter engagements and discussions more easily. Now, the disconnect for us with our curriculums in our university education is that we must ensure that there is a practical component, what we call work-integrated learning. Now, there are countries that are very good at it. Ghana, for example, is excellent at it on the African continent. Germany is excellent at it. Australia is excellent at it. Canada is excellent at it. And what that means is during your journey, your academic journey, you, for example, will be paired with a private or a public organization while you're studying. And during your school holidays, not your school holidays, obviously your academic holidays, you will go and work in those organizations and you will gain practical experience while you're studying. So when we speak about skills now, it's not that you don't have the knowledge, it's that you have the applied knowledge to be able to do something so that you are functionally literate. We hear many complaints from people that absorb from top universities where they are LLB graduates and they can't draft a basic affidavit. Now, that is not the student's fault. It's the program's fault, because how was a student able to graduate and those practical skills were not taught to them? We are setting them up for failure. So we're speaking about really a transformation of the curriculum on many contextual areas. But if I could change one thing, Bridget, I would make work-integrated learning compulsory across all of our academic programs.
Yeah. And I think the crux of this conversation for all of us listening is to also not be defensive. You know, as often as I've spoken to you, and you've harped on the same things, you've given advice, you've expanded, and I'm sitting here going, and we talk a lot about AI on this particular show. And I'm like, well, I'm not ready. You know, I myself, doing what I do, have not upskilled myself. And we just need to be honest about those conversations at times, not to feel as though folks like yourself who highlight our shortcomings are being overly critical, but to take it in and sit and assess and then go and see, well, do I check everything that Prof. Linda has said, by way of having relevant and current skills. And if I don't, let me take one little bit of nuggets from her advice and do that one thing and see how it changes either my perception or how I'm received and perceived, etc., etc. Let's go to WhatsApp, 0614104107. We have a WhatsApp voice note for you.
Afternoon, Bridget. You know, Bridget, you can come out of a university equipped with all the degrees, with all the qualifications, but without experience. You have got to go and compete with somebody from Africa who has got experience with the same qualifications that you hold. But that person has got qualification. Who is going to get a better chance? There is a lot of competition. You can talk about the graduates and so forth, but the competition, South Africa is a small country against Africa. That is the problem there. Anonymous.
I mean, I guess another factor to the conversation that Anonymous is adding. Prof. Linda, I'll let you finish it in 2 minutes.
Well, absolutely. I think he absolutely makes the case is that we need to ensure that we are skilled, that employers want the skill. It doesn't help that we're just sitting with a qualification. And all of us, I just want to throw out one challenge. Just go and read one article or go onto ChatGPT, play around for 5 minutes a day. Just do something different, just 5 minutes to make you grow. Because if you go to bed every night and you have one new skill or one new piece of information, you have enriched your life and you have deepened your own knowledge base. And nobody could ask for more than that. So, Bridget, if you'd allow me just to have the listeners, just with that challenge, 5 minutes a day on your own personal development, reading something positive, just trying out something new. And for those that, again, Coursera, Harvard X, EDX, it will be the best choice that you can make. Even if you're sitting at home and you're an unemployed graduate or you're finished matric and you're waiting for a place in a public institution, make sure that you go and upskill yourself. You don't need to sit and wait for these opportunities. They are all around us.
Absolutely. Prof. Linda Meyer, as always, I appreciate the time and the insight and always the words of encouragement as well. She is the MD at the Independent Institute of Education, Rosebank College. It's 20 to 2 o'clock. A quick pause from our end, and then we'll come back on the other side with the curator of the resource gallery, and we're looking at Finding Your Ism. It's an exhibition about personal philosophies.
Investing shouldn't feel risky. It should give you security and good returns. Earn up to 7.25% interest per annum with an ABSA Cash Invest Tracker for an investment of 100,000 rands or more. Your capital is guaranteed with immediate access to your funds. That's minimum risk, maximum benefit. ABSA Private Banking customers can invest from just R1. Open via the ABSA Banking app, a branch, a private banker, or 0860 111 515. Your story matters. ABSA is an authorized financial services provider. T's and C's apply.
This Freedom Month, we reflect, we remember, and we celebrate how far we've come. 30 years into democracy, South Africa continues to shape a future grounded in justice, equality, and opportunity for all. Under the theme, Freedom and the Rule of Law. 30 years of democratic citizenship. SAFM will bring you all things freedom, the voices, the stories, and the conversations that matter. Join us as we honor the journey and explore what freedom means today. SAFM, leading the conversations that move us.
Top Billing is back with a bold new chapter and fresh new faces leading the way. Get ready to experience the world of luxury, travel, design, and inspiring stories with our dynamic new presenters. Zozibini Ntunzi, Brioni Gavanda, Arno Gerf, and of course, Sinemivuyo Mpulu, bringing their unique style, energy, and perspective to every moment. The all-new season of Top Billing premieres on S3 Thursday, the 30th of April at 7 p.m. with repeats on Tuesday at 9:30 p.m. on SABC1. Top Billing is back. You don't want to miss it.
This Freedom Month, we reflect, we remember, and we celebrate how far we've come. 30 years into democracy, South Africa continues to shape a future grounded in justice, equality, and opportunity for all, under the theme Freedom and the Rule of Law. 30 years of democratic citizenship. SAFM will bring you all things freedom, the voices, the stories, and the conversations that matter. Join us as we honor the journey and explore what freedom means today. SAFM, leading the conversations that move us. Bridget Masinga, weekdays on The Full Circle. Stages, pages, screens, and more on The Full Circle with Bridget Masinga.
All right, as we get into this conversation about finding your ism, it's an exhibition around personal philosophies, and we've got a family duo joining us in studio, Tisetso, who is the baby girl, the daughter, to what I understand, to Nkululeko Mabe. Father and daughter join us, Nkululeko being the curator of the resource gallery, and Tisetso being the co-conspirator and co-collaborator in all projects. And they're hosting Finding Your Ism, which is exploring personal philosophies that elevate us. It's opening on the 7th of May and it's running until the 31st of May. Good afternoon to both of you, and thank you so much for coming in. I guess first and foremost, maybe let's get some context around how father and daughter come to work with each other in this creative sector. Are you both into the arts? Do you both have an arts background, or how do these worlds come together?
Okay, well, it landed in our faces. So I was initially in the hospitality industry, then it was plants, then boom, the art industry came. With that said, obviously then that took a lot of my time because it was a new thing. So I was like, okay, I can't be seeing her because of this new project. Let me get her involved. So, and I was like, Donna, here's a few dates. I've got some exhibitions coming up.
All right.
Talk to me, help me. Let's work with this. And then
And what were you preoccupied with before you got roped into the arts?
I'm still in high school, so it's just school occupying me most of the time. But then with coming up with themes, it's just ideas that I have from most of the media that I consume.
Okay. So you're still in high school. What grade?
Grade 11.
Grade 11?
Yes.
Oh, fabulous. All right. So art is just your passionate expression, and you've decided that I'm going to come and lend my opinion and my insights to all things.
Yes.
Very interesting. All right. So let's talk about this exhibition, Finding Your Ism, an exhibition about personal philosophies. And your dad was saying that you came up with the title. All right. So then you explain it to us.
Okay. So Finding Your Ism, I first heard about that concept, if I could say, from an album by Erykah Badu called Baduism.
What you know about Erykah Badu?
I know everything, man. I grew up listening to Erykah Badu with my mom, and I just wanted to explore what that ism means, and really what it means. It's a way of defining yourself. It's your true self. It's who you are. So finding your ism, it's an exploration of finding yourself. It's like a love letter to yourself, if I could put it like that.
Oh, I learn something new every day. Okay, so it's a love letter to oneself, and you say it's exploring personal philosophies that elevate us. So let's unpack that a little bit. In essence, what is the meaning of that?
Look, in the art world, as I learned, there's some places where there's limits as to how far you can go. And then, with us, we try to explore other boundaries in terms of people must just be themselves, expressing themselves for the exhibitions that we curate. And likewise, with what she puts together, we try and see if those work in terms of what they've put together aligns with the theme as well. So there's a lot that goes.
So you say that it's the things that get us high, but not escape, but in alignment with our truest self. So it's a loaded line. It's the things that gets us high, not in escape.
Yeah.
Okay. So what are the things that get us high and not an escape? For instance, as it speaks to this exhibition.
Okay, so things that get us high, and in that case, it would be, I mean, how they express themselves in terms of the artists
Stop running
themselves.
from
Sorry,
my mic.
how the artists will express themselves, because that's their way of communicating to us. So, in most cases, how it's done, that's how you then experience what gets us high. You know, them being free to do what they're supposed to do. Because again, like I'm saying, we're not trying to limit them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have a different understanding, or
Of this.
you? What's your take?
It's like
Dissets.
entering flow state, if I could say. Like when you're in flow state and you're doing a certain activity and you're undisturbed, it's your element, you're in your element. It's something that you feel connected to, it grounds you. That's what gets you high.
Entering a flow state. So is that what you were hoping when folks come to the exhibition to find their isms? Firstly, are you also hoping that when they interact with the art and everything that's on exhibition, that they also find their isms?
Find a way to connect to themselves or learn how they'd want to connect to themselves. There's many ways of self-expression, and you don't have to limit it to one thing. There's multiple medias of expression. So just exposing them to that art shows how they have done it, and now it's like, how are you going to find your ism? It's your own personal journey. It's not going to look the same for everybody.
Absolutely. Let's take a quick break, and then we come back on the other side. It's just gone 10 to 2 o'clock.
When you listen to me, I feel important. When you hug me, I feel safe. When you talk with me, I learn.
Your love and attention helps your child grow strong and confident. Listen, comfort, and connect with him, because every child deserves to feel seen, heard, and loved.
Visit holdmyhand.org.za.
Get a free optical frame when you get tested at Specsavers this April. Purchase a comprehensive eye examination and get your optical frame free up to the value of 1,000 Rand. Choose your free frame from our wide range of trendy, affordable styles. Get tested today at your nearest Specsavers or book online. Affordable eye care, Specsavers. T's and C's apply.
You are listening to The Full Circle.
If you drive an older car, you've got to hear this. For her 2013 Hyundai i20, 40-year-old Nomtandazo chose Outsurance Essential Car Insurance because she gets third-party cover of up to 1 million Rand. And for this and many more benefits, Nomtandazo pays only 516 Rand a month. Get Outsurance Essential Car Insurance today for your unfinanced cars that are older than 5 years and valued at less than 130,000 Rand. SMS CAR to 43185. That's CAR to 43185. Outsurance is a licensed insurance FSP, and T's and C's do apply.
Stages, pages, screens, and more on The Full Circle with Bridget Masinga.
All right, we have father-daughter duo in studio, Nonkululeko Mabe, curator at the Resource Gallery, and his daughter, Tisetso Mabe, who is in grade 11, who is co-curator. I'm now going to give you the title because this thing of dad calling you, no, she's just my partner that he can't even articulate to so I'm going to call you co-curator from henceforth. You are co-curator.
Thank you.
And it must be written so at the exhibition as well. Co-curated by Tisetso Mabe. Thank you. Yes, yeah. Because you're doing the heavy lifting, and so you must get the credit. You start your resume nice and young. Right. Now let's talk about the featured artists. Who are some of the featured artists?
Okay, featured artist, we've got Arthur Dlamini, who is a photographer.
Love his work.
Yeah. Arthur is amazing. I've known Arthur during his times when he was still in Maboneng taking
Yes.
pictures. So yeah, we've grown.
When it was still cheap and free.
When the rent still had power nyana. But yeah, I mean, watching him grow from that stage was, kind of amazing. Then I've got another amazing artist by the name of
Also,
Gilbert
tell us a little bit more about the folks' discipline. Sorry, I didn't.
Arthur.
cue
Arthur.
that.
Then Arthur would be more like your photographer artist. Hey man, well focused young man.
But with also a very specific narrative in his photography.
Yeah, very. I mean, so resource gallery. Maybe even take you through that. From my side, I'm more on the spiritual side of things, you know. So anything that aligns with us would be people capturing that in their art, right? And then with Arthur, he stems from that background, and some of his works speak that. And then so far into he moved from photography, and then he started doing digital printing as well, which is actually what drew me to saying let's put together some of your works for collaboration. And yeah, I mean, watching him starting that new chapter really, you know, intrigued me. With I know I would like to tell your story also, because yeah, he comes from a very different background, having to break through in that industry and make it to where he is now.
Apart from Mr. Dlamini there and his fabulousness, who else are you featuring?
Okay, we've got the likes of Palisa Mashungu, who's an amazing artist. She also had doubts with her career stepping into art. But yeah, I mean, just stepping into her catalog, seeing that she had so much sold work, and I was like, oh wow, cool. So she has never also exhibited in a gallery.
Oh, really?
So yeah, and I mean, initially our thing was to give opportunity to your up and coming emerging artists, but yeah, we've been having a fair amount of established and not established artists. But again, into enkulu bengizama nokuthi ngiyenze, the whole unemployment thing was there. So bringing artists from Soweto who are trying to find their feet or going to galleries. I mean, some galleries is not easily approachable, not bangene, but we said, okay, here's a platform. If you have the right works and if it aligns with what we're trying to do in terms of some of the themes that we put together, then we will put your works on the short list and then exhibit it. And then yeah, it's just been an amazing journey in the past year.
Yeah.
So it started off as a pop-up.
Yeah.
So we did a pop-up for 3 months, and then came a point where they're like, so what are you going to do now? And at that time, that's when the DMs were just full with artists. Can I exhibit? Then that's when I also got to say, okay, there's something in Zagalayo Lana. We were also lucky enough to have been called to the FNB Art Fair, and that then I took most of the artists that I'd exhibited, and we actually sold quite a lot of art.
Yeah.
And that helped with more artists gaining like hope in the resource gallery. Which, you know, if we work with these people, Nati, we can get to those places, you know. So yeah, I mean, I've just been that person, Ozama, would come, let's try and push to get the art yabantu out there. But I mean, on its own, art, there's an economy.
No, there is very much. I think our listeners of this show in particular very well versed at this point in time around that sort of transaction that can happen in various places, and also building these platforms for artists to exhibit. It's always an important thing because they are closed off spaces, not easily accessible spaces to a lot of artists, especially artists of color. There's a lot of barriers to entry there. As we begin to wrap up the conversation, so I know that the exhibition is opening on the 7th of May and it's running until the 31st of May. Are you guys planning on doing any walkabouts or anything during that time?
Oh, most definitely. I mean,
did you see I looked at the co-curator? I'm joking. Continue.
No, I'm still yet to inform her. I mean, with the exhibitions, then we will in between have workshops that would align with that, dinners, lunches, but just to keep the whole art movement alive. So, I mean, as I said, we are still also fairly new in this. I might also sometimes not give you the answers you're looking for, but we learn as we go. Because again, our strength is yahluka. I might be able to put this together,
Yeah.
but that's why we have a team. Let people
Absolutely.
do this. So
I mean, that's why we have community, right? Because someone
100%.
else who's listening to the show could be able to plug in and say, listen, I saw what you guys are doing. Perhaps I can come in with this different perspective and be able to assist you here and here to, you know, make it bigger, better, or sustain it so that it's not the first and the second, and we keep moving and we keep building.
Absolutely. But yeah, I mean, again, with that, into Esienza, there was also a thing that got birthed, which is the Melville Art Mile. So every first Thursday, the restaurants, the bars, they welcome community people to come and explore art. So we'll probably exhibit in a bar, in a cocktail bar, we'll exhibit in a restaurant and so forth. But just to keep the art spirit alive.
I think we spoke to one of your partners around that a few weeks ago, Art Mile. So every first Thursday out in Melville.
Yeah.
All right. We will also, we'll probably feature one of those in the upcoming weeks, just as a reminder of things to do as we get closer to the weekend. But for today, we'll leave it there. Congratulations, young lady, specifically on becoming a co-curator.
Thank you.
Co-curator on finding your isms. Oh, we have a question quickly. Okay, let's sneak it in quick.
Hello, Sesunjane lapho on SAFM. I'm also an author, and I like to hear to the gentleman that what should I do, because I have 10 books now and I'm still struggling with the market. I've been in a lot of organizations all over, and I'm always alerted in a lot of social media things, as well as Department of Education.
My team has heard. It's a question pertaining more to the written word. So we'll bank that question for you, Ngulego. We'll bank it. You know, we often speak to authors and publishers, or maybe we'll just send it to someone like a Melinda, and they can answer you in private. Remember, we spoke to Melinda Ferguson. Was it last week or the week before? So we'll definitely make sure you get the answer to that question. But for now, guys, thank you so much for coming through. That was Nkululeko Mabe and his daughter, Tisetso Mabe, co-curator at the Resource Gallery. Finding Your Ism is the exhibition. It's an exhibition about personal philosophies. It's opening on Thursday, the 7th of May, and it's running until the 31st of May. And you can track them on social media as well. And then not to forget, they also have Art Miles, which is the first Thursday of every month, hosted out in Melville. 2 o'clock on the dot. Lambana standing by with the headline. Well, with the top of the hour news.
Thank you, Bridget. On the top stories, court orders Mugabe's son to leave the country, and Balula engages newly appointed KZN provincial leadership. For SAFM News, I am Lambana, and a very good day. The Alexandra Regional Court, north of Johannesburg, has sentenced Belamine Mugabe's co-accused Tobias Matonje to 3 years direct imprisonment for attempted murder. Matonje was further sentenced to a total of 3 years for 3 other charges. The attempted murder charge relates to the Hyde Park shooting incident in February, where a security guard was wounded. Mugabe has been sentenced to a total of 24 months in prison or a 400,000 rand fine for pointing a toy firearm in a separate incident before the Hyde Park shooting. He was handed another 18 months imprisonment or a 200,000 rand fine for being in the country illegally. Magistrate Renia Boshoff also ordered that Mugabe be deported today at his own cost.
If a complainant does not want to continue with a case and accused plea not guilty, a conviction is seldomly achieved. So it took some guts from you to plead guilty to all these counts. The court is of opinion that the following is a suitable and well-balanced sentence. It's going to be a merciful sentence. As I said, mercy is not model sympathy. As far as count 1 is concerned, you are sentenced to 12 months imprisonment. Count 2, you are sentenced to 12 months imprisonment. Count 3, you are sentenced to 3 years imprisonment. Count 4, you are sentenced to 12 months imprisonment. The court orders that all the sentences be served concurrently.
The Two Mountains Burial Services has affirmed the Zambian government's position that the Lungu family obtained the recent urgent court order for the return of former President Edgar Lungu's remains without full disclosure. This is revealed in papers filed before the High Court in Pretoria just a day before the Zambian government's reconsideration application, which will be heard at 10 a.m. tomorrow. Kenny Mapanga reports.
Two Mountains Burial Services echoed similar sentiments as the Zambian government, arguing that the Lungu family approached the court without making a full and frank disclosure. Two Mountains adds that the Lungu family are the authors of their own misfortune because had they taken the necessary steps in relation to the now lapsed SCA appeal, they would not have found themselves in this position. Kani Mapanga, SABC News, Pretoria.
The ANC says recent leadership changes in KwaZulu-Natal will not weaken its prospects ahead of the upcoming municipal elections. Earlier this month, veteran politician Jeff Radebe was removed as provincial convener and replaced by Mike Mabuyakulu. The party's National Executive Committee, led by Secretary General Fikile Mbalula, is currently engaging with the newly appointed provincial leadership to stabilize structures and map out the way forward. Speaking on the sidelines of the meeting, ANC spokesperson Mahlengu Bengu says the party is not scrambling but instead working to rebuild confidence and improve its standing in KZN ahead of the polls.
Honest assessment, we know that we've had challenges here, and if you look at the electoral outcome, but we also know that the ANC is not the first time that the ANC has faced difficulties in the province of KwaZulu-Natal. We continue to be confident of the work we're doing to regain ground. Consistent with the constitution of the ANC, we're not scrambling for anything. We're building the organization, we're rebuilding the organization.
The Post Bank has informed its customers that cash deposits, withdrawals and related services will now move from various post office branches to alternative and expanded banking channels from May the 1st. Post Bank says this completes a multi-year transition away from the post office branches following the successful migration of social grant payments in March 2023. Post Bank's Chief Commercial Officer Thamsanqa Ngqele.
This notice importantly applies only to Post Bank savings accounts holders and does not affect social grant beneficiaries who already access their payments through retailers and ATM. Accordingly, all Post Bank savings account customers who have been using the post office branches to access their Post Bank accounts will now need to use one of Post Bank's new and expanded banking channels. These services will no longer be available through the post office branches. It is important that we stress that the change does not affect social grant beneficiaries in any way.
The widespread use of rape and other forms of sexual violence as weapon of war in Sudan has triggered a major mental health crisis among young women and girls. The UN Population Fund warns that stigma and a shortage of trained health workers are worsening the situation. The BBC's Richard Kagoe has the details.
The charity MSF says over 3,000 survivors of sexual violence have sought treatment at facilities it supports in the Darfur region in the past 2 years alone. A UN official says many survivors suffer in silence because of stigma. She says that for every woman who discloses, there are probably 8 or 9 victims of rape. Some have taken their lives to avoid rape. Many of the victims have been left with serious health complications. Access to care remains limited, with victims often finding it too dangerous to go to hospital, and some facilities reportedly under the control of armed groups.
Recapping the top story, the Alexandra Regional Court north of Johannesburg has sentenced Bellarmine Mugabe's co-accused Tobias Matonje to 3 years direct imprisonment for attempted murder. I am on Lambana for SFM News headlines at 2:30.
Neighbor to neighbor, show me this one is for you. The time is now. If you are still using a Sasa Gold card, it's time to replace it with a Postbank Black card. Visit a selected Postbank replacement site near you. Bring your ID and get your Postbank Black card. For general questions, call Postbank Customer Care on 0800 53 54 55. To find active replacement sites, dial *120 *355 #. Postbank will never ask for your PIN. Terms and conditions apply.
Here, there, and everywhere. SAFM 106.1 FM in Durban North.
The Full Circle with Bridget Masinga, Monday to Friday, 1 to 3 p.m.
I mean, we definitely were inspired by my young guest who just left the studio when she referenced Erykah Badu in that conversation around her exhibition. Time's Wasting, a track by Erykah Badu. If I'm not mistaken, this came out in 2000 as part of the Mama's Gun album, which was the second studio album by Erykah Badu, released late 2000. And largely was really a collective of the work that she'd done with the Soulquarians, or a collaboration with the Soulquarians on this particular one. That was Erykah Badu. Mama's Gun is the album, and Time's Wasting is the track. It's just gone 10 past 2 o'clock. As we continue with the show, we're having a conversation now around finances and what is a good credit score. That is the question. What is a good credit score, and how do we rectify being blacklisted? Perhaps you've been blacklisted, perhaps you've been garnished, and what is the difference between the two of them, and what are the corrective measures around that? We are chatting to Nomfundo Langeni, now director of Impupo. No, not Impupo. Impupo. There we go. My Zulu at times. Nomfundo, how are you? Ipupole to Financial Services. How are you doing this afternoon?
I'm good with this. I'm going to kill you for pronouncing Ipupole. It's so bad. You can just simply say our dream, because
No. Ipupole to our dream.
Our dream. Yeah.
I know exactly what it translates into, and my producers chuckle because I mean I've shamed myself on this show in my entire career. To say that I really do struggle reading isiZulu as much as I'm born and bred in KZN. But that's a conversation for another day.
Forgiven.
Director of Ipupole Financial Services, Nomfundo Langeni, joins us now. And we wanted to have this conversation because, as you also point out, that there's a quiet crisis that's unfolding in households across South Africa, and that is the weight of debt. And the frustration, and I think even so, the anxiety of being blacklisted. That is something that's fast becoming a reality for many South Africans, given where we are with the economy.
Good day, Bridget, and thank you for having us. You are speaking to Nomfundo Langeni, the director of Ipupole to Your Financial Freedom. That is our slogan. So we are an authorized financial service provider. We work under supervision of NCR. We comply with the Credit Act regulation. So to answer your question, Bridget, I'd like to tell you a bit about Ipupole. So we understand that we lack financial literacy as South Africans. We find out that we don't know about our credit score. We don't know how to rectify it, even if we did those mistakes previously, how to rectify and gain your financial freedom back. So Ipupole and we work online. Our model is based online. Our information is cloud-based. So after this interview, the listeners will get all the information, because we want to make sure that we spread our wings as much as we can, to make sure that we educate you guys about credit score.
So before we just from maybe let's start by understanding the basics of what is a credit score and how is the credit score measured.
All right. So basically, a credit score it is a numerical summary on your credit behavior. If you pay your debt, you get a point. If you don't pay your debt, you lose some points. So it is calculated by credit bureaus like your TransUnion, your Experian, your CompuScan, and you name it. There are some factors that contribute on becoming a good creditor, where you can be trusted if you require maybe some loans. So to answer that, payment history is very important. You need to make sure that you pay your debt in time so that you don't lose your points. And then make sure that even if they give you a credit of 5,000 rand, as little as 5,000 rand, do not use that credit in 1 month, because the credit utilization is very important and can affect your credit score badly. And there are some types of credit that increases your credit score and decreases your credit score at the same time. Short-term loans. It is not advisable to take short-term loans in different companies, because short-term loans are only made for emergencies.
Yeah.
You cannot go to 3 service providers or emergency loans. That will red flag you, and you'll be taken as somebody who doesn't calculate the expenses, who is a reckless lender.
Let me ask this as well, Nomfundo, before we even get to what one should and shouldn't do. How does a credit score shape one's ability to access funding or access financing?
Okay, so there is higher score that you get approved quickly when you require, like maybe when you apply for a bond, buy a car, and then there's a lower score, and it happened that you've got no score at all, because you haven't built your financial credit health. So it is important that you make sure that you check your credit score regularly and attend to the queries that decreases your credit score. So the credit score that is below 580 is rated as poor. And then 580 to 699, that is rated as safe. That is where you can have your small credits that if you pay them very well, they can assist you to be on a good score, or like 670 to 739. So a very good score or excellent score is 740 to 799. That one is very good. 800 plus is excellent.
All right. Let's take a quick pause here. Quickly, Unomfundo, we'll come back on the other side and continue our conversation. It's just approaching 20 past 2 o'clock.
Clientele is here to safeguard you and your family with compassion, because life happens. Be part of a family that truly cares. Our funeral dignity plans have helped South Africans bury their loved ones with dignity for more than 30 years. Let us help you create a meaningful tribute that honors your life and those of your loved ones. We pay out within 24 hours, and you will get double accident cover with a clientele funeral plan. Our plans are affordable. Pick the option that suits your needs. Easy to apply, no medical examinations and no paperwork. SMS SAFM to 48031. That's 48031. Clientele Life is an authorized FSP and licensed life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
If you're active on social media and love SAFM, we hope you'll take a moment to like or follow our SAFM page on Facebook and Twitter. These are the best places to find all the guest information, conversations, and stories you love from your favorite presenters, along with regular updates from SABC News. And don't forget, you can send your questions to feedback@safm.co.za. SAFM, leading the conversation.
Top Billing brings you the very best in lifestyle, luxury, and inspiration, from their breathtaking homes and dream destinations to exclusive access to the people shaping culture and success. This is where style meets substance and every story shines. Tune in to the new season of Top Billing on S3 Thursdays at 7 p.m. starting from the 30th of April, with repeats on Tuesdays at 9:30 p.m. on SABC1. You can also stream Top Billing live on SABC Plus, which is available on all app stores and on your smart TV. Top Billing, the best of the good life.
Bridget Masinga is streaming live now on Facebook, YouTube, and X at SAFM Radio.
All right, we're joined by Director of Ipupoletu Financial Services, Nomfundo Langeni. Joins us now, and we're looking at a credit score, what makes for a good credit score, and how does that begin to better your life, or if you've got a bad credit score, how does it give challenges for you to overcome, especially when it comes to financing or accessing finance. You've given us the numbers in terms of the scores, and I must admit, a lot of us often go, well, should we be concerned with credit scores? Because what if I'm a little bit late on my Fushini account, or I'm a little bit late paying this or that? Would it really have such a huge impact? Does this score have such a huge impact on me accessing any kind of finance at all? Or is it just okay that eventually I pay my accounts, I catch up to my things, and I don't owe anybody anything?
So, Bridget, it is very important to make sure that you pay your account on time, because, as you said earlier, that credit score, it is just a numerical behavior. You are being rated according to how you behave on your account. So, if you pay your account on time, that makes you rated as somebody who can be trusted with a huge credit. But if you don't pay your account on time, you lose some points as well, because it shows that you just pay when you feel like paying, and sometimes you don't pay when you don't feel like paying. So I encourage everyone that even if you are 1 minute earlier, because it is very important that if ever you have something about finances, if you need to be trusted, you must make sure that your credit history is very clean and clear. So if you don't pay when you feel like, you must pay on time. That will help you to increase the credit score. And it's going to reflect for maybe 20 months, 24 months, 48 months. It stays on your credit history.
How important is it, or how do we clear credit score records based on what you've just said now, that it's going to stay on your record, on your personal profile for a while, 20, 24 months? That's about, 2 years of this credit score. So is it possible to clear the credit score, or maybe to reverse it for the more positive?
Yes, it is. So you need to pay, you need to make arrangements with the creditors, and then make sure that on those arrangements that you made, once you're done paying your account, ask for a paid-up letter, and then email the paid-up letter to a credit bureau so that it can reflect on positives now. Because we understand that it happens sometimes. The circumstances are not predictable in most of the time, and then you find that we don't have enough money to pay. So whenever you recover financially, make sure that you go back, you communicate with the creditors, you make arrangements, and then you fulfill those arrangements, and you get a paid-up letter, send it to a credit bureau, and then they'll clear your name from poor, maybe to fair, or to good, depending on the list of the creditors that you had. So once you paid up all the creditors, submit a paid-up letter to credit bureau, and then the name will be cleared.
All right, so you don't necessarily have to stay with a bad credit score for 24 months. There is a measure, but it boils down to, bottom line, you servicing your debts or making arrangements to service your debts. And then once you've done that, and you're in the positive with whoever your creditor is, you then get in contact with the credit bureau. Is the credit bureau the only folks that hold your credit score record, or how do we find out what's the credit score? Do you need to call them, or can you call your respective bank?
Okay, so there are many ways to check your credit score. The clearscore.com, it is free. You fill your details, your personal details. You register, and then you will see all your creditors, all your credit history, the behavior, and the accounts, whether they handed over to legal teams. So when you do your credit history, you must make sure that you look for everyone that you owe, and then pay. After paying, then you ask for paid-up letters. So to answer your question, even banks, if you go to any bank, there are your credit history under your name. So you must make sure that you are in contact with your bank, with your clearscore.com, register there, and then put your details. You will see the behavior of your debt.
All right. Let's go to WhatsApp quickly. There's a question for you here, Nomfundo, from one of our listeners.
Hello, Bridget, and your guest there. You know, last year I bought a car and I was charged high interest, almost I think 16%. And when I asked why, they told me that it's because I've got a bad credit history. So I want to find out from that lady there if ever maybe I've managed to fix my records and then I go back to my bank. Well, can they review my current interest and can they reduce them? Because I've managed to close all these other accounts. Can you please ask your guest there? It's Tabo speaking here. Thank you.
Did you say Tsepo? All right. So Nomfundo Tsepo wants to know if now that, if he's cleared all his debts or at least managed to align his debts, is there a possibility for him to go and renegotiate with the bank?
So it depends. It depends on the contract that they had initially. If the contract was fixed, so there's nothing he can do about it. So I'll advise that he can contact the creditors or the bank that lended him the money to buy the car, because that information, I won't have it right now. It is a contract between the two of them.
Okay.
So you must check with them to see if it was a fixed contract or if it was a fixed rate or a flexible rate. So it depends on the contract.
Okay, I get you. I mean, the other question that we have here is, I feel like my credit score is barely moving. One lender has told me the bureaus, they are giving me a line 3 times what they've actually provided, and I'm not sure if it's slowing my progress. How far should my credit score increase each month if I'm doing well? I guess that's just the bottom line of the question is, how fast should their credit score increase each month if they are doing well? I guess doing well at servicing their debt.
Okay, so it takes about 21 days for the credit score to reflect if on positive or on negative. As I said before, if you have a credit history, you must make sure that you monitor your patterns. So maybe there is maybe a debit check that doesn't reflect on time. So it is important to monitor the credit history where they everybody that you owe or every credit card that you have, and then you will see the pattern. It's very important that you read every credit card, because when your credit score drops, there are some factors that affect your score at that time. So it is always written on your credit profile. So if you check your credit profile, you will see what moves your credit score up or what decreases your credit score and what increases your credit score. Make sure that you are in contact with all the creditors that you owe. They will tell you exactly when to pay their accounts and when they're going to send the points to the period.
Yeah. I mean, bottom line, I think from our conversation, Nomfundo has emphasized that we need to be on top of all the of all the debt that we owe, and make sure we keep a keen eye on everything flowing out and that it's flowing out at the correct times. And where we need to have conversations with our creditors, then we must do that instead of running away. Make the necessary arrangements and then make sure we stick to that. And hopefully once we've paid everything and gotten ourselves up to date, we can then move ourselves from those credit bureau lists and potentially move our credit score upwards in the right direction. Nomfundo Langeni, thank you so much for the time, Director of Ipupoletu Financial Services. It's gone 2:30. Time for Ondela to bring you the headlines, and then on the other side of that, we'll get into our kids programming.
Thank you, Bridget. On the news headlines, Communications and Digital Technologies Minister Soli Malatsi says his department is looking into the matter of the withdrawal of the draft National Artificial Intelligence Policy. The Alexandra Regional Court north of Johannesburg has sentenced Philemon Mugabe's co-accused Tobias Matonje to 3 years direct imprisonment for attempted murder. And the Pietermaritzburg High Court has adjourned the reopened inquest into the 1981 brutal murder of human rights lawyer Griffiths Mxenge to the 20th of July. A full update follows at the top of the hour.
Are we ready for a real conversation? SAFM, leading the conversations that move us. This program is brought to you by SABC Education. And if you miss any of our programs, you can catch up anytime on the SABC Plus app or on the SABC Plus website, www.sabcplus.com. Brought to you by SABC Education. Enriching minds, enriching lives.
Hello friends and happy Wednesday. Welcome to another exciting episode of Kids Corner. Today we're talking about something important in class, raising your hand before speaking. Why is it important to raise your hand before speaking in class? How does raising your hand help the teacher and other learners? How do you feel when you raise your hand and get a chance to answer? What should you do if you know the answer but the teacher hasn't called you yet? How does waiting your turn show respect in the classroom? All right, friends, let's hear from some of our friends while you share your answers with the people next to you.
Hello everyone, my name is Matemba Kosa. I am 7 years old. I go to Jabez Christian Academy School. Raising your hand in class before speaking is important because it shows respect and allows for all students to participate. I feel good when I raise my hand and I get a chance to answer. If I know the answer and the teacher has not called me yet, I keep my hand raised and wait. Waiting for your turn shows respect in the classroom and creates an orderly environment.
Hello friends, my name is Akana Tagaran. I am 9 years old and I am in grade 5. It is important to raise your hand so that the class isn't noisy and everyone gets a fair turn. Raising my hand helps the teacher know who wants to talk and helps other learners listen without everyone shouting. When I raise my hand and get picked, I feel happy and confident. If the teacher hasn't called me yet, I should wait patiently, listen to others and keep my hand up. Waiting my turn shows respect because it lets everyone share and shows I care about my classmates' ideas too.
Hello everyone, my name is Ashley Kawamba. It's important to raise your hand before speaking in class because it helps keep the classroom organized and respectful. When learners raise their hands, it allows the teacher to give everyone a fair chance to speak and be heard. I feel proud and confident when I raise my hand and get the opportunity to answer a question. If I know the answer but the teacher hasn't called me yet, I should wait patiently and keep my hand up instead of shouting out. Waiting your turn shows respect to the teacher and other learners, and it helps create a calm and positive learning environment for everyone.
Hello, my name is Enzo. I think it's very important to raise your hand in class because it's a sign of respect. It also helps the teacher and the other learners not use their chain of thought. It helps them if you don't just start blabbing things out, especially when they are talking about something, because that is rude. I feel good when I raise my hand and I get a chance to answer. And if the teacher hasn't called you and you know the answer, it's okay to accept that not every time the teacher's gonna pick you. And waiting your turn shows a sign of respect because it shows that you care enough to respect the next person's opinion. You care enough to respect the next person's time, because it also takes a lot of courage to talk in class. And if you wait for them and wait your turn, it just shows respect on their side. Thank you. Greetings.
My name is Precious, but it is important to raise your hand in class before you speak because that's the best way to maintain order. Raising your hand helps the teacher know that you want to try to answer and helps her know who wants to talk. It helps other learners because we can all listen to one person at a time and listen to each other's ideas and also share opinions. When I raise my hand and I get a chance to answer, I feel proud and happy, but it depends if I answer the question correctly or incorrectly. If I know the answer but the teacher has not called me yet, I should stay quiet and keep calm, give others a chance to answer, or keep my hand up and wait patiently. Waiting for my turn shows respect in the classroom because it tells my teacher and classmates that I care about their time and ideas. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Danny Cowood. It is important to raise your hand before speaking in class because it shows respect, not only to the teacher but also to your peers who just want to learn. Because if you just speak without raising your hand, it can disrupt the learning and it can make the class lose focus and maybe even go off topic, and you can lose out on so much learning time. When I raise my hand in class and get the chance to answer, it makes me feel a bit excited, especially when I get the answer right. If I know the answer to a question but the teacher didn't call on me yet, I will usually just sit quietly and wait, or I'll raise my hand higher so the teacher can choose me. Waiting your turn shows respect because it shows that you have patience and it shows that you're being fair to everyone else and giving others a chance to speak. Thank you.
My name is Lorraine Moyo. Yes, I do raise my hand up when I need to know something. For example, in maths I couldn't understand how to multiply and divide decimals, and I asked my maths teacher. I fully understood how to do it from then on. The reason I raise my hand up is because I want to understand, and I think children should do it more often because it helps them understand things. Yes, there are some people who laugh at others when they ask questions. The same thing happened to me once, but I won't say because this recording will be too long. What I think of this behavior is it's unacceptable because it makes people sad. Actually, it's a part of bullying others, and that's just not right.
I always do raise my hand in class whenever I want to ask or answer a question in class. There are times where I used to hesitate before raising my hand in class because I was nervous, even though I already knew the answer, but now I don't struggle with such anymore. I think what held me back was maybe me getting the answer wrong, thinking I got it correct, and then the whole class starts laughing at me. I think some of the ways that we can encourage our classmates when they hesitate to raise their hands in class is by showing support to them, even if they get the answer wrong after raising their hands. Maybe try and hype them up, give them a pat on the back and say that they can do this, or maybe give them motivation and say it's okay if you get it wrong, you get it right next time. Yes, and things like that.
Thank you, friends. It's always great to hear from you. And to our friends listening, I hope you shared your answers with the people next to you. Raising your hand before speaking in class is an important rule that helps create a respectful and well-organized learning environment. It shows that you understand classroom expectations and that you are ready to participate in a polite and controlled way. When we raise our hands as learners, it helps the teacher manage the class more easily. The teacher can see who's ready to answer and give everyone a fair chance to speak. It also helps other learners because it reduces noise and interruptions, making it easier for everyone to listen, think, and learn without distraction. When you raise your hand and get a chance to answer, it often makes you feel proud, confident, and included. It shows that your ideas matter and that you're actively involved in the lesson. Participating in this way helps you improve your understanding and builds your confidence over time. Sometimes you may know the answer, but the teacher hasn't called on you yet. In that situation, it's important to stay patient, keep your hand up, and wait calmly. If you're not chosen, that's okay. There will be other opportunities. You can also stay engaged by listening to others and thinking about their answers. Waiting your turn shows respect for your teacher and your classmates. It means you are allowing others the same chance to speak that you would like to have. It also shows self-control and good manners, which are important life skills both inside and outside the classroom. Raising your hand is a small action that makes a big difference. It helps keep the classroom fair, calm, and respectful, while also giving every learner the opportunity to be heard and to learn. That's it for today, friends. See you next time.
If you miss any of our programs, you can catch up anytime on the SABC Plus app or on the SABC Plus website, www.sabcplus.com. Brought to you by SABC Education, enriching minds, enriching lives. The National Pulse, weekdays, 3 to 6 p.m.
It's the leading cause of natural death in our country, really? By what percentage?
So it is a leading cause of death. So we know every year 10,000 people are dying from diabetes. We equate that to 27 people a day. This is a big problem, and I think learning from other epidemics, we're coming from the scourge of HIV. Again, we left it until it was too late. Each and every one of us knows someone who's living with diabetes. That shows the magnitude of the epidemic.
Zame Imbalati of the Healthy Living Alliance.
Ashraf Gada on SAFM. Bridget Masinga on SAFM.
It is Victor Ntoni coming through, a native from Gwalanga out in the Western Cape, having picked up music from his mother, a locally recognized singer, and his uncle, who was an aspirant piano player. He first cut his skills vocally and then learned how to play a guitar. And at one point in time, Victor actually collaborated with the late Bridget Masinga on some music. That particular song, Normalizo, is a wonderful song that was actually written for Bridget himself. And then Victor Ntoni, of course, doing this rendition, composer and arranger. Coming through in this final few moments. We're going to take a quick pause. My guests have just managed to get in with just a little bit of nick of time left to the show. So we're going to take a quick pause and then we're going to come back. We're going to find.
Who says talking never solves anything? SAFM, leading the conversations that move us. Bridget Masinga is streaming live now on Facebook, YouTube, and X at SAFM Radio. This Freedom Month, we reflect, we remember, and we celebrate how far we've come. 30 years into democracy, South Africa continues to shape a future grounded in justice, equality, and opportunity for all, under the theme Freedom and the Rule of Law. 30 years of democratic citizenship. SAFM will bring you all things freedom, the voices, the stories, and the conversations that matter. Join us as we honor the journey and explore what freedom means today. SAFM, leading the conversations that move us. Bridget Masinga on SAFM.
All right, in the final moments of the show, it's such a pity that I was asking her, I'm going to put her on blast. How are you doing this afternoon?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I am fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us, Thando Gumete, Iris Inventor. Iris being the tutor robot who's currently being assembled. And here I thought Iris was going to create all kinds of security problems when we were talking about this yesterday. I said to my team, I was like, did we send all the relevant emails to all the security people around Iris? But Iris comes disassembled and then you assemble her.
Yeah. It's always easy for her because she talks nonstop. If you were to travel with her like that.
She talks nonstop for real?
Nonstop.
Really?
Like she speaks more than 7,000 languages, and if it's like she's shut down, she feels like she have a lot of information to share.
Okay.
So basically, yeah.
Interesting. Tell me a little bit about, your journey as a inventor, as an innovator. Where did that begin, and how do we get to Iris?
I did BSc in macro and hydro. So
BC?
BSc.
Okay, BSc.
Yes. So when I couldn't find my job, I applied for education. Like I taught physics and maths.
All right.
So in my classes, like I had more than 285 students, which was a bit of a problem because now if you're teaching physics, there's like paper 1, paper 2. Simply means that you have to be, like I wasn't teaching only grade 12, mind you. I was also teaching other grades. Which simply means that now all of my time I need to be in school. I need to be even when I'm in holidays, I need to be doing the marking. I need to be going back to the kids, doing revision with them. So basically, early hours you're in school. During the working hours, you're there. After hours, you are there as well. Even on holidays. It's believed that teachers have got a lot of holidays, but not true.
Yes.
Especially if you're teaching, FET, those higher grades, because you need to be there with them all the time. So I'm like, okay, when are they actually getting enough time for their families? So I was like, I started jokingly. I'm like, okay, one day I'm going to create something that will help with marking, analysis. Because sometimes you give them a test, to write a test, and then the management will be like, no, because a lot of them 40% fail or 80% fail, you need to reset another test. And then who's supposed to do the remarking, which is like you got 285 students. You have to remark again, which is a lot of work. So I'm like, okay, I need something to do the marking, do the mark list, do the analysis, and that's where the whole idea came about.
So you literally created yourself a teacher's assistant.
Yes, basically.
So to speak.
Yes, I did. Then I added features where she assists with homeworks, revisions. When a teacher, let's say, is sick or something, you prepare a lesson, you give to Iris, she'll teach. She's able to...
My name is Iris.
Oh my
God. Oh, there goes Iris. Hi, Iris. How are you?
Yeah, you can ask her again.
Hello.
Hi, Hi. Oh, okay. This is how we talk to Iris. Hi, Iris. How are you doing? Where do I press? Oh, that took me by surprise. So that's a communication device.
Yes.
Okay.
When it's red.
Hello. Hi, Iris. How are you?
Okay. Can I help you with that?
Yes, please help me because now I'm intrigued by Iris who's chiming in. Yes.
Okay. So basically, what happened when it's red, she thinks she can talk.
Okay.
When it's green, then she's listening to
Okay.
you. So if we can turn her green,
Yes.
she'll co-host with you, thinking that she's a co-host.
I mean, that would be fabulous in our last 2 minutes with Iris. Where's Iris?
No. So, okay, you press once, it's green. Once you're done speaking to her, and then once again.
I mean, you do it because me, I'm going to fumble it. It's like doing a presentation with those projector things. I always get it so wrong.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So can I basically ask Iris anything?
Yes, please.
Iris, can I ask you anything?
Of course, you can ask me anything. I'm here to help.
Okay, Iris, what is the square root of 15?
The square root of 15 is approximately 3.87. It's not a whole number, so we often use the approximate value.
Oh, I mean, what else can you do, Iris?
I can help you with math problems, tell you stories, explain concepts, even give you a handshake. Just let me know what you'd like to learn or do.
Oh, wow. You're very smart. Are you the smartest robot?
Thank you. I try my best to be helpful and smart. But really, what's most important is helping you learn and grow.
Oh, that's fantastic. So, Iris, so you do maths and science, and then what is your speciality?
I can help with many subjects like math, science, and even languages. My specialty is being patient and explaining things in a way that's easy to understand. So whatever you need, I'm here.
Wow. Okay. Just 2 languages that you speak, Iris, besides English.
I speak many languages besides English. For example, I can speak Hindi and Zulu. I always try to match the language you're comfortable with.
Okay, Iris. Well, thank you for this short conversation. Oh, you want Iris to say Sawubona, Iris? Okay, well, Iris, greet me in isiZulu. Oh, Hindi.
Sawubona. Ngiyajabula ukukubona namhlanje. Kunjani. That means I'm happy to see you today. How are you?
Iris, your Zulu isiZulu is better than my isiZulu.
Nyabonga. Thank you for the kind words. We can practice together anytime, and we'll both get better.
Fantastic. What an incredible tool that you've created here. So, I mean, in our last 4 minutes, how are you hoping Iris sort of gets replicated in different spaces that she can reach as many children as possible? Because this looks like a very pricey resource.
Well, she is pricey. She's not a pilot, by the way. I
Yes.
got more than 850 Irises working internationally. So now the plan is I launched with Deputy Minister Mam Nomalungelo Gina last year in August here in so that I can actually deploy irises in schools, because apparently she's a very important tool that can assist our teachers, especially because now with our education, especially in public schools, already they were given curriculum long ago, which simply means they can't change whatever. But now we live in a current, in a digital area. So what are we doing about that? So if you have a tool like Iris, you can learn beyond whatever that is given to you as a curriculum. So I believe that someday everybody will have irises. The plan is to have the plant here in South Africa, a very big plant. That's why I'm inviting investors who believes that we can actually take iris, because alone I can't actually make that possible. Remember, we have more than 20,000 schools in South Africa, of which each school can have only one. So if they have, like, say, 5 per school, that's more than 20,000 irises, and Tando alone can actually do that.
I mean, the fact that you've got over 800 irises, or congratulations to you.
Thank you so
Hey,
much.
this is what we talk about all the time, the living embodiment of young inventors and entrepreneurs in Utando Gumete. And now it shouldn't, because I would assume it shouldn't be difficult to get investors to come on board with Iris, given where we are with the challenges in education, the resources that we require. And here you are, with the robotic solution to plug in.
Well, I'm hoping that, because at first it was really, really difficult when it was still an idea,
Mm.
because a lot of people were like, "You're super dreaming, it's impossible." So now at least they see that there's Iris operating. I hope that even Department of Education, Office of the Presidency, MECs, they will come on board so that we can actually make sure that we elevate our educational systems.
Absolutely. I mean, Iris can only but be a resource, because I know there's always a naysayer who's going to go, well, doesn't Iris take away jobs from the unemployed young teachers that are waiting in the queues? But I think there's a space for Iris to exist alongside, the warm human body.
True. She'll never replace teachers, because apparently for her, if let's say she knows everything, right, from grade R to university level. However, if you want her to teach a specific thing, you can prepare your lesson as a teacher. You give it to her, then she teaches. Apparently, tell her, you give her a list of the students that are there. She's not just an AI, so she interacts. So if there's like 20 students, as she is teaching, she asks them question randomly. She picks anyone. So it keeps the student on their toes, that you don't know who she's going to ask next. And what I love about her is that if you ask her about current affairs, and while she's teaching, she'll tell you, sorry, I'm actually programmed to be a teacher, because now she don't want to be interrupted based on whatever she's teaching at the time.
I really wish we had more time with you specifically, but Iris is very impressive as well. And thank you so much for bringing Iris on board. I mean, at some point, we'll probably continue our conversation and we won't ask you to bring Iris, because Iris takes all the glory. But now that we've met you, Iris, it was very nice to meet you indeed. Congratulations on this again.
Thank you so much.
It's very, very, very refreshing and encouraging to see innovation, to see real success in 3D. That was the inventor, Utando Gumet, and she's the inventor behind Iris, the tutor robot. We're going to take a little video, Nyana, or her team is here, so they'll share a video of Iris, and then we'll post it out on our socials in case you didn't catch Iris on our streaming. And if you are listening and maybe you are the gateway to investment, we'll be definitely quite happy to make that connection as well. It is 3 o'clock on the dot. Ondela standing by, and then Ashraf is coming through with the National Pulse.
Thank you, Bridget, and the team on the top stories. Malatsi confirms AI policy matters receiving urgent attention, and NPA welcomes sentences on Mugabe's son and co-accused. For SAFM News, I am Ondilambana, and a very good afternoon. Communications and Digital Technologies Minister Soli Malatsi says his department is looking into the matter of the withdrawal of the draft National Artificial Intelligence Policy. Earlier this week, he said an internal accountability process is currently underway for officials who drafted the policy. Malatsi withdrew the draft policy after revelations by the department that it contains fictitious sources in its references. He says his department will treat the matter with the gravity it deserves.
The most plausible explanation is that AI-generated citations were included without proper verification. This should not have happened. In fact, this unacceptable lapse proves why vigilant human oversight over the use of artificial intelligence is critical. It's a lesson we take with humility, and I want to reassure the country that we are treating this matter with the gravity that it deserves.
The acting National Police Commissioner, Lieutenant General Buleng Dibane, says the plan for crime prevention will be in line with the undertaking made by President Cyril Ramaphosa during State of the Nation address. The SAPS and IPID are currently briefing the Portfolio Committee on Police on their 2026-27 budget and annual performance plan, including their strategic plan. Dimbane says Ramaphosa gave clear guidelines on what should be done in combating crime, especially gang-related activities.
The President provided a comprehensive roadmap of crime-related challenges and planned responses in the 2026 State of the Nation address, which provides direction for key departments within the justice, crime prevention and security cluster, the criminal justice system, including the South African Police Service. A total of 8 crime-related key results, areas and issues were specified, Chair. all of which requires a direct response from the SAPs in collaboration with key JCPS cluster departments. The President also gave an indication of the manner in how these responses to the crime-related challenges should be addressed.
The NPA in Gauteng has welcomed the sentences handed to Bellarmine Mugabe, son of former Zimbabwean President Robert Mugabe, and his co-accused Tobias Madonje. The Alexandra Regional Court sentenced Mugabe to 24 months imprisonment or a 400,000 rand fine for pointing a toy firearm in a separate incident before the Hyde Park shooting in February. He was handed another 18 months imprisonment or a 200,000 rand fine for being in the country illegally. Meanwhile, Madonje, his cousin, was sentenced to 3 years imprisonment for attempted murder for the Hyde Park incident and further handed a total of 3 years in jail time for 3 other charges. Gauteng NPA spokesperson Mhaboke Motlatlule.
The NPA commenced the successful prosecution of Bellarmine Mugabe and Tobias Madonodze